Hello everyone, this is Mr. Stamkos, and welcome to Hockey Talk, a series we haven't done for a while, but it's the off season. We don't got much to do, and I don't want to just keep putting out HLM content and stuff, so we're going to mix it up today, and there will be no face cam in these videos for a while. I really don't know what happened, but sometimes my camera glitches out, and it doesn't work, so Facecam is not going to be an option, so I hope my voice is enough. And yeah. But anyways, what we're doing today, as you can tell, is talking about the Boston Bruins. And I'm going to give a little bit of a hot take here, but I'm going to tell you 5 reasons why the Boston Bruins won't make the playoffs this year. And I think they have a fair shot at the playoffs. I do. And for the fans of Boston, I hope they make it. I don't think they're going to be a top team. I think if they do get in, it'll be a third spot or a wild card spot. And again, I'll go over my reasons why right now. So let's get into, maybe one of the main reasons why this team will not do as well this year. And that's because there is no Pastrnak or Marchand for the start of the 2020-2021 season. Now, David Pastrnak and Brad Marchand were injured. I don't know how they got injured, and I'm not interested to know, but I know they're injured. And for David Pastrnak, he is injured until mid-February, supposedly, and for Marchand, he is injured from mid to late January. And those injuries could really be bad for the Bruins. Obviously, 2 of their top players, they're not going to have them for the start of the season. That's really going to hurt, especially considering one of the reasons that is number 5 on my list here. But missing these 2 guys for the start of this season, especially since it's going to be a shortened season, is going to be huge for the Bruins. They're probably going to miss about a month each, I'm going to say, at least. And, that's a big deal. That's like 10 games right there. And, for Pastrnak, it'll be more like 15 to 20. But there's honestly nothing you can do about it. And it really sucks, but it happened. And I also got down here, DeBrusk and Chara are unsigned. Like, who knows? Chara might not come back. He is 43. Who knows if he'll be a player who can still produce at the NHL level, and DeBrusk is currently an RFA, and I don't know if the Bruins are going to bring him back. I think they will end up doing it, but right now he is not on the team, so take that into consideration later on. Reason number 2 why the Bruins will not make the playoffs this year is Torrey Krug is off the team. Their best defenseman just got up and left. He went to St. Louis. Obviously, Pietrangelo went to Vegas. I will be talking about them in another video soon. Now, with Krug gone, let's take a look at Boston's defensive core. So this is what I think it'll look like. On the first line, you got Charlie McAvoy and Brandon Carlo, 2 really great young players drafted in 15 and 16, respectively. You got Matt Grzelcyk and Jeremy Lauzon on the second defensive pairing. I think Jeremy Lauzon could be a good shutdown kind of guy, somewhat similar to Brandon Carlo. A player in that kind of sense, except on the left-handed side if you develop him properly. And Grzelcyk just signed a big deal with Boston worth, I think, $3.5 million average, so you're definitely going to want to be playing him in the top 4. And on the third pairing, I'm going to say you got Kevin Miller and Connor Clifton. Still 2 pretty good guys, but you can see with Torrey Krug on how much weaker that defensive core is. You really don't have a guy there who's a real number 1, so who knows who's going to step up. It could be McAvoy, it could be Grzelcyk, it could be Carlo. I could see any of those 3 guys stepping up and being that number 1 guy. And you might see Chara in that defensive core if they bring him back. There's also rumors that the Leafs want to pursue Chara, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I just don't think that Chara is going to go to the Leafs. Plus, where they would really put him, they're kind of in a cap jam already as it is, so adding Chara is really not necessary. But yeah, with Torrey Krug on, again, you could really see how weak that defensive core is, and if the Bruins want a shot at the playoffs, every one of those guys that I just named will have to step up and be at the top of their game. I think, even to contend with other blue lines in the NHL, because honestly, I think the Bruins right now have a bottom 20 defensive core. It is pretty bad without Torrey Krug, but again, nothing you can do about the situation. All the top guys have already gone, and the Bruins just don't have a ton of cash to spend. Reason number 3 why the Bruins will not make the playoffs this year is they have got an aging core. Now, I'm not saying these guys are going to slow down, come to a screeching halt. I'm going to say that they're a bit unoiled, and especially for the first few guys here, maybe. So Patrice Bergeron is 35. It's crazy. He's still playing really great. But last year we saw a bit of decline in his game. This year I'm expecting to see a bit more decline in his game. I still think he'll be a solid top-line center, a guy who can really be good on face-offs, be a great defender. But those offensive numbers, I think, will start to dip and dip and dip. And even that defensive play will start to fall off. The face-offs will slowly start to go down. He's at that age now where he'll be thinking about retirement in the next season or two. And I think his game's just going to start to decline. Next, you got David Krejci, who we saw a huge decline from this season already, and I think that will just drop down even further. Right now, he's their second-line center. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him move down to the third-line center, even midway through next season, just because he's 34, and I think he is going to regress a bit more. You got Tuukka Rask, who last year in the playoffs just left. He just left the Bruins for dead. And some speculate, does he have the motivation to play anymore? Because he has been talking about retirement. He's in the last year of his deal. Does he want to play anymore? Does he have that motivation? He's also 33, so he's getting up there too. You got Yaroslav Halak, who's now 35. He's been really great for the Bruins. But again, when are you going to see the dip in his game? Will it be this year? Who knows? He is 35, like I said. So, again, kind of on the decline of his career now. And Brad Marchand isn't too old, but he's still 32. So you're still going to think, when is he going to drop? Is he start going to slowly fall off maybe this season? He had a great year last year, but you may see him dip a little bit in production this year. Again, I wouldn't be surprised, but that is reason number 3. Just a team that is starting to get old with their main core of guys. And you could add Chara in there too if he re-signs with the Bruins. Reason number 4 is the Atlantic Division got a lot better this offseason. And I mean a lot better. A lot of teams, I'm going to name 5 of the main ones. I'm excluding Tampa because their team's pretty similar. I think they're going to bring back Sergachev and Cirelli. They bring back Maroon and Shen. So they got those guys. They sent Johnson down to the AHL through waivers. No one picked him up. So we got a little bit more money to work with. But yeah. We're going to talk about the moves that the Atlantic Division made this year, starting with the big one, Montreal, who I think will definitely contend for a playoff spot. This year they got Josh Anderson, Tyler Toffoli, Jake Allen, and Joel Edmondson, who are all roster players, all pretty valuable pieces, and all will probably make a big impact on this team. You got Florida, who's made a lot of, smaller moves, I'd say, but still very impactful, I think. Traded for Patrick Hornfisk, signed Radko Gudas, signed Alexander Wenberg, signed Carter Verhaeghe, and signed Scott Wilson. And, Hornqvist, probably a second or third liner guy, a guy who's going to replace Hoffman. Gudas, a solid top 6 defenseman. Wenberg, a good bottom 6 center. Verhaeghe, a good bottom 6 winger. And Scott Wilson, a good 4th liner. So you are really adding a lot of solid depth pieces to that Florida team. Getting guys in the absence of Mike Hoffman, who could come back. I don't think he will. And obviously Evgeny Dadonov, who signed with the next team, the Ottawa Senators. But I think Florida picked up a lot of great players. They did really good for their situation. I think they'll be definitely contending for a playoff spot. You got Ottawa with trading for Matt Murray. They just drafted Tim Stützle. You got Evgeny Dadonov and Alex Galchenyuk signing there as well. So you got 3 pretty big free agent moves that could turn out well. They brought back Connor Brown as well. So that's a big one too. They got back Nick Paul, I think it is. Yeah, Nick Paul, who's just, kind of a fourth liner or whatever, but still. But yeah, they really just solidified their goalie there with Murray. If he plays at the top of his game like he did in, let's say, 2017, 2018, in those playoffs, that Ottawa team, again, a team that could contend. It's unlikely, but, they've made some decent moves. You got Toronto, who brought in TJ Brody, solid top four defenseman. Wayne Simmons, a good guy to put on your third line. Jimmy Vesey, solid third or fourth liner. And Aaron Dell, really good backup. I think with this move, they may be looking to dish out Anderson. Again, I may be talking about situation in Toronto with their cap and Anderson and all that, because there's a lot of drama going on in Toronto. And you got Buffalo, who's brought in Taylor Hall, huge free agent signing. They've only made 2 signings this year, but Taylor Hall is big enough on his own, I think, to push the Sabres into a playoff spot, because he is a legitimate star. He can do good in any situation. Put him in Arizona, he's almost point per game, so that's pretty good. And they signed Cody Eakin, just a good depth piece, a third or fourth liner on Buffalo, just a guy to bring in. But with all those names, the Atlantic Division got a lot better and a lot tougher for the Boston Bruins to compete in with their situation here, with losing Krug, Pasternak, and Marchand being out for the start of the year. Their main core starting to decline. It's all kind of coming together with this spot where Boston may want to look at their team. And we still got one more reason too, but right now I'm just going to say this. Boston may want to start looking at their team and saying, well, do we continue on, or do we maybe start to look forward to the future? And I think it may be this time, if not this year, then definitely next year, where they look at their situation and say, yeah, we should maybe start to go on, if not a rebuild, a retool, bring in some guys who can help, and, let the old guys come out, bring young guys in. Because they really don't got a lot of great young guys. And reason number 5, the final reason, is the depth situation for Boston. So right now, this is what I see there. Second, third, and fourth forward lines. I already went over the defense, so you know what that situation is. But yeah, this is the depth forward lines right now, and it does not look pretty. Down the middle, it's pretty good. You got Krejci, Coyle, and Corrali, 3 very serviceable guys. Boston has a really good center core, I will admit that. But again, with Bergeron and Krejci going down, that center core will decrease over the next few years. Luckily, they got, Jacob Forsback and Carlson, not John F. Kennedy. Like, geez. You got Jack Studnicka, who played great in Providence. You got a couple guys there who could come up and replace Krejci at least. Moving to the left wing, though, the wing is really the issue, and they brought in Craig Smith, which does help a little bit, but I don't think enough. And also take this into consideration, this is without Jake DeBrusk, since he is unsigned right now. But even with him, it's still not pretty looking, especially the third and fourth line wing spot. You got you got Anders Bjork on the second, Joakim Nordstrom on the third, and I'm going to say Jeremy Locko on the fourth line. He's 22, 23 now. Give him a chance to play, I say. See what he can do. But obviously not pretty. They traded away, what's his name, Danton Heinen to the Ducks. That's a big move. The Ducks are really happy with him, I think. Solid second line guy on their team. And the right wing on the second line, you got Craig Smith. Again, proven NHL player. We'll see how he does in Boston. I'm going to expect him to get somewhere between 30 and 40 points. You got Carson Kuhlman on the third line, who was kind of disappointing last year, but we'll see if he can turn it around. And you got Chris Wagner on the fourth line, who, again, just a solid kind of third or fourth line piece, but not great depth on that Boston team. And they're really missing that number 1 defenseman too. So those are the 5 reasons why I think the Bruins will miss the playoffs this year. When you look at it all together, I start to think, yeah, this team is actually pretty bad. Like, they have a lot of kind of bad situations right now going for them. And of course, they still can make the playoffs. I'm not saying they will outright miss the playoffs, but I'm saying if the Bruins miss the playoffs, don't be surprised. Come take a look at these reasons and say, yeah, so it makes a little bit more sense now why they missed out on the playoffs. But anyways, I'm happy to return to Hockey Talk. This was a fun video to put together. I just did a little bit of research. It took me a couple days to get this research done. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this. I know this is pretty long, 15 minutes, longer than my usual Hockey Talk. But I'm trying to get a little bit more in-depth and a little bit more work into the Hockey Talk videos going forward. And this is the first of hopefully a nice string of things. We'll see how this video does. I'm hoping it does well. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hit subscribe if you're not already. Really help this channel grow. Goal to 100 subscribers. And yeah, like I said earlier, again, thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. But for now, bye.